Hi and welcome to a Mystic Dude Last Epoch video. So in this video we're going to be looking at my Healing Hands build on the Sentinel. Really easy to play build, absolutely fantastic for a new player. It's very controller friendly, so if you want to kick back in your armchair and play it with controller, this is a build that'll enable you to do that. It's easy to gear up, you can play it without any uniques at all, uh, and it'll also adapt as you acquire the uniques and you move through the content up to, I would say, maybe 450, 500 corruption, depending on how you set the build up. I'm currently running this build at 350 to 400. As you can see here, last ruin 360. I'm still quite comfortable at this level, as you'll see. So it's a really easy build. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Right, with that said, let's look at the passives. So the passive is we're Sentinel. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, I guess. But we're Sentinel, mastered with the Paladin. Uh, some of these points, they're sort of set in stone where you've got to use them. Some, you can change it around to have a bit of fun and make your own version of it. For example, Juggernaut here. If you've got gears that are providing plenty of fire and void resistance, you can take these points out. Put them into something else that maybe fits into your build or ties into it. Same with these. I've got 10 points in Void Knight. Again, I've got them because I've got low void resistance, so I'm just getting some void resist from this. But if your resistance is high on them, then yeah, you can take them out. Paladin, this is how I've got it set up. I'm not going to go through every single uh, choice and reason why. I would. It's cheap to reset your skills. I would play around with it and find what works for you. Just bear in mind that Healing Hands works off healing effectiveness. So basically, anything that provides heal and healing effectiveness here is going to be useful to you. So that's the passives. Let's get on to the skills. Right, so looking at the skills, like I said before, we've got Healing Hands, Lunge, Holy Horror, Sigils of Hope, and Volatile Reversal. So starting with Healing Hands, there's a couple of these that you really, really have to use for this build, and some of them that you can play around with. I did have these up at one point, Hated Scourge and Turn Undead, barely because of the defensive nature of them. Uh, but as you get better geared, you don't need them. So that's one example points you can take out. Uh, let's have a look what you need. So for channeling, Unbroken Prayer, this is what provides the channeling to the build, which is the constant like spin to win effect, a bit like uh, the Barbarian from Diablo 4. So this Synthesis of Light, that also is one that you really need to have. It provides ward based on your healing effectiveness. And the other one over here, Seraph Blade, which converts it into a melee attack. What I would suggest is uh, this is kept at 4, then you've got 100% hit. Yeah, it is doable with 3 or 4, but yeah, I would really make sure that this is at 4. Other options, let's see, increased healing effectiveness. Like I say, this is what buffs your damage. Yeah, so just go through it. You might be able to drop a couple of points, change it in and out. That suits you. But for the most part of it, there's a couple of them that are sort of set in stone. This one up here, again, you could probably drop that out if you wanted and put the point in to somewhere else. So that's Healing Hands. Next one on the list is Lunge. Lunge, you can actually use this without any points in the tree at all. If you wanted to use another ability like Vengeance or Smite or whatever. I prefer to have it in. It does a little bit of damage. It looks really good when you go flying across the screen with the flame, with the fire trail. Also, as well, if you do spec into it, it gives you a bit of a debuff there. It applies frailty. It's got a better cooldown. does a bit of damage. Also as well, up there you've got two uses of it, so you're not waiting for it. So I prefer to spec into it. Some players running a similar to build to me don't have any points in it at all. But again, your choice. Try it with and without. Olihora, this is like a passive, like I said before. Let's have a look at this. So this is sort of passive. It's permanently up. It does a bit of damage per second, as you can see. We'll just run through some of them. So it can provide ignite. So along with the lunge, that's another debuff, frailty, ignite. You'll see when we're attacking stuff in a bit that you get a lot of debuffs on the enemies. Uh, so you get Fiery Inquisition, which does a nice little burst when it goes off, which is one of the reasons why fire damage is also a good stat to have with this build. It's not a big source of damage. Your main source is, as you can see me at the bottom, healing hands, but that scales off fire as well. Uh, Mainly because of Seraph Blade deals fire damage on it. Uh, right, back to Olihora. So yeah, basically go through it, see what works for you, uh, and just keep it permanently on. You can forget about it. Sigils, these are the ones sometimes you need to keep your eyes on them. Uh, they will go off. You won't always have four sigils up. Uh, when you're mobbing, doing the monoliths, this last wish will proc quite a lot. It says 6%, but it does proc quite a lot. And as you can see, you get a bit of damage increase from them. You can play around with the points. You can go with less sigils if you want. You could take that out, which allow you to take maybe a point out of there, and you can put extra damage in these. You could extra ignite chance, but again, the fire damage isn't high on this build, so don't go mad. But yeah, play around with it and see what variations you come up with. So the last one is volatile reversal. Again, a utility uh, ability. It also provides a bit of a damage increase. So basically, what happens is I'll try and demonstrate it. If you're in a position here in the center and you move to an area here, it will move you back. Yeah, so we'll just go in now. So we move over there. There you go, and it snaps you back. So that can be good and bad. I tend to use it as a static ability. So if the boss was here in the center and I was fighting away, this is when I would use it. And what I would do, let's say I've got four sigils up, I'm attacking the boss. I then, like I said before, I can hit my sigils to give me that 3 second damage increase, and also hit my volatile reversal, which gives me damage increase on the enemy. So I've got a double bubble. So so this creates a void rift under the enemies. Uh, and let's have a look. Enemies hit by volatile reversal to increase damage for 4 seconds. The sigils damage lasts for 3 seconds. So ideally you would hit your volatile reversal first, followed by the sigil. And I just did it the opposite way there, because that's just the way I'm used to it. But yeah, ideally you would go with volatile reversal first. You've then got 4 seconds damage increase on the boss or the enemy. Hit your sigil manually. Hopefully that you're already at 4 stacks. That then gives you a damage increase for 3 seconds. By the time you've hit this one, after that you've got 3 seconds of a nice little damage buff, which is very handy against the bosses. Anything else we need to mention on this one? Uh, yeah, global attack speed. So yeah, a nice little haste. I think that shows up on here. There we go. You see it there. Velocity. Doesn't last very long, but every little bit helps. It's all nice. And there is uh, there are stats that actually give you a nice little effect from so we'll just find one, seeing I've got it on my mind. Oh, controls on this. Let's see if we can find one. Right, so that's right. So 2 seconds of haste after traversal skill, 25% increase effect of haste on you. So if you was to use your lunge, I can't use it on this platform, which counts as a traversal skill. Yeah, and then hit your volatile reversal. Even if you're static and you're just literally lunging like half a foot, you've got that extra increased effect on you. So yeah, there's lots of stuff that synergizes together. This build, like I say, you can always take points out. You don't have to use all these. You can have them just as passives, and some players are running with judgment. As you can see there, I mean, I'm not even spec'ing to this, and it does quite a lot of damage. I tried playing with it. I found it a bit clunky. I felt it was just the consecrated ground was a bit small of an area, even though you can expand it, you know. But that's an option for you. So yeah, that's the skills. Now, moving on, let's get on to the gears. Right, now let's have a look at the gears. So like I said at the beginning, it's not too bad to gear up this. You can play this build quite comfortably without any uniques, and when you do drop the uniques, you can see and feel yourself progressing. So I'm running 5 uniques at the moment. 3 of them I say are sort of like really important. 2 are not so, but yeah, we'll have a look at them. So the Akai's Phoenix, uh, we don't have primalist attacks, obviously, and companions, but the reason this is important is for the crit strike chance. So I've currently got about 52%. So this is a base crit chance. So if I take this off, I'm probably going to have about 29. Let's have a look, 29%. Yeah, so 29% without it. So it's a lot of crit chance because it if it all, as you can see, adds to your base crit chance. So that's why that's important. The Eye of Rain is because of the. This is important for a couple of reasons. Uh, the crit strike multiplier on the implicit. Chance to ignite is good. Chance to gain a stack of Rain's Eye for 5 seconds. Each stack of Rain Eye gives you 5% crit strike multiplier. When you're mobbing in a monolith, you're getting them stacks up to 25 more. Yeah, so it's a lot of damage increase. So it's a really desirable weapon to get. Keep your eyes open for one of that. The downside, both this sword and this axe are the lowest drop rates for the respective weapon classes in the game, as far as I know. Uh, so yeah, good luck. Peak of the mountain, very high crit strike chance on it. Drops from the Lightless Arbor boss. A lot better drop rate chance on it. So you shouldn't be too bad if you've got a few keys to run a few of them, and hopefully get yourself at least an LP21 soon. The the ring, the Siphon of Anguish, drops from Orberus, the boss in the Monoliths. This is desirable because of the chance to apply Doom. Doom's a void type damage, does a lot of damage. Void is the highest damage implicit ailment in the game, as far as I know. We're not centered around void damage, but it's still good. Uh, and if you run the shield, which I'll come to in a minute, it's very good. I'm running the belt, which was a Weaver's Will belt, just because it rolled pretty decent for me. And I like this belt because it's got a lot of armor on it. I mean, I'm running at 55% without the belt, 49. So yeah, I mean that belt gives me a good. Let's see. Oh yeah, good 700, 760. Yeah, a lot of armor. Really nice belt. Uh, and then usual stats on others. Uh, we'll come to the Elf Lost Ward gain in a second. The relic, what I would do is look out for a relic like this one at the bottom where it's got implicit fire damage, healing effectiveness. The only reason I haven't got this one on is because I needed something with mana regen, and I got this on a 5th stat. So that's why I've got this one on. It just helps me with mana management a bit better. So yeah, try and keep your eyes open for one of these, and if you can, try and get your 5th stats on them. As you can see, I've got a 5th stat on gloves, relic, and my amulet. They're not the best ones, but you know, every little bit helps. So moving over to the gloves, which I just mentioned, I've got 5% health lost, 5% ward gained. Works well. I do have another set of gloves which have, I think, 8%, 9%. These work just as well. The reason I've got these on is because they've got a high tier 6 crit strike chance on them, uh, and reasonable attack melee speed. So yeah, they're not bad rolls, these at all. And I've got hybrid health as well. So if you don't get any gloves like this, to run a ward build, there is other options. So you can get exsanguous. That's 20% health loss, 20% ward gain. Again, you would really need this with 1 or 2 LP. 2 LP, I would say, to just get a couple of decent stats on it. But, you know, if this can drop really early, I think I dropped this when I was really low level. And so if you drop it early on, it's a good leveling piece. Last Steps to the Living, again, health loss, ward gain. These are the only pair I've dropped, and I didn't drop until I was doing 300 plus monoliths. There is a downside on this, you get chilled, but it in practice it didn't really affect me. I've only seen that 2 stacks max, and yeah, it really wasn't noticeable. So keep your eyes open for other exalteds that are good items. Eagle wings, like I say, if you haven't got that, you know, keep your eyes open for exalted eagle wings. If you haven't got the sword or the shield, keep your eyes open for other shields with high melee attack damage or healing effectiveness, stats like that. Uh, Always be on the lookout for helms with plus healing hands on. Ideally, you want to be getting +3, or if you're lucky, tier 7 +4. That way, when you do get one of these peak of the mountains, you've got something with higher stats to slam onto them. When I slammed this on, I had I got lucky because I had a tier 7 attunement and a tier 5 healing hands. I'd like it to have been the other way around, but you know, I can't complain. That was lucky. That was all right. So keep your eyes open for that. Other useful stats as well, you know, the usual stuff. Idols, healing effectiveness on all the idols. The small ones cap at 17, the big ones cap at 95. So keep your eyes open for that. If you do have a choice, if you get lucky and you've got quite a few, then obviously you can start looking at your second rolls on them. You know, like that one's got chance to shred armor, fire penetration. You know, void damage over time isn't really good for this build. Uh, but yeah, so keep your eyes open for them. Blessings. Most of them are personal choice, but there is 3 that I would highly recommend, and I'll explain the reasons why. So, crit chance obviously puts your crit up, so that's that one explained. Next one, crit strike avoidance. So, on defense, you want to have round about 100% crit strike avoidance. Yeah. Uh, there is also uh, another stat you can get, which is reduced damage from crit strikes. So, but in general, you want near enough 100%. Now, the more you have from this stat here, this blessing, the less you need to worry about putting on your gears. Yeah. So try and get it here as a blessing rather than have to waste a stat on one of your gears. Same said for physical resistance. Yeah. Caps at 75%. Yeah. Uh, Try and get that capped as soon as you can. And if you can get it from this blessing, which goes up to 75%, then all the better. Yeah. The others are more or less just drop chances for items, which to me don't seem to work. I've never noticed any change with any of them. But there is a couple of other like useful ones, which is so for example, this Curse of Sulphur, chance to apply frailty. Uh, that's not a bad thing. Reduces the incoming damage to you as you apply stacks of frailty to the enemies. So them are the blessings. So keep your eyes open for them. Uh, keep your eyes open for the items on the stats. Make sure you've got your loot filters set up. Make sure you're running the right content for the items you want to drop. And yeah, good luck with your gearing. Right, so here we are in an echo, in a monolith. It wants us to destroy the venom spire in this one. So, like I say, what I tend to do when I get in, just by habit, is hit myself with 4 uh, sigils and just start stacking up my ward. Now that was my lunge, as you can see, that looks really good, that when you're flying across the screen. I wish the cooldown were better on it, because I do like using it. I like using it that much that I would like to use it without any cooldown. So, as you can see, all I'm doing, I'm just running into enemies, spamming my healing hands. You can't channel it while you're moving, so you've got to sort of move and stop, as you can see what I'm doing there. But that's where your lunge comes in, helps you get across to the enemies. And here we are, we're at the Venom Spire. Let's put a bit of a damage buff up. That's the echo done already. So that was a nice one to show, because it was only one target to it. I'll see if I can quickly find an exiled mage. Be nice to show you on that. Something that stays alive a little bit longer. If you look at the enemies at the top on the nameplates, you'll see the debuffs that are going on them. You know, from my skills and abilities. So we've got shock, slow, frailty, shred armor. So even though we're not doing massive amounts of damage, you know, we're not hitting like, well, on this, we're not hitting like 100, 200 Ks. We would do on the dummies. If we go to test dummies, this we wouldn't be hitting 200 K. So just be careful you don't get sort of like misled by the test dummies. Right, well, I can't see a mage. So that's basically uh, the building action. As you saw, I mean, it was really quick to get through. So, and this corruption is, let's see what level we're at on this one. That's 360 that we're on, yeah, and that was comfortable, you know. So I think if you run this build, and especially if you're a new player, you'll have a lot of fun getting through corruption. And by the time you get bored with it, you've probably learned enough about the game and the build to change it around and make it even better than I've made it, you know. And if you get any better luck and drops than I've had, then yeah, good luck. I think you'll go far with it. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the explanation on the build, and I hope you enjoy leveling your build. Hit me up in the notes if you've got a similar build, or if you've got a variation on it. I know there's a lot of people running it with Rive and Smite. I leveled up using it with Rive, but I've gone purely with just healing hands now. So Vengeance is another one. So yeah, let me know what you're doing. And for now, Mystic Dude out.